Okay, so Min Hee-jin, NewJeans' mom, filed several lawsuits against malicious commenters. She filed it in South Korea. I think she filed about 11 in total already, and she won several, about three. But for this round, there were three lawsuits, and she won one. Okay, but so the thing is that no one could understand why she's doing it, given that she only won 300,000 won, not 3 million won, 300,000 won, which translates to, if you want an easier math, $300, but someone actually computed it's about $225 or something like that. So it's like that's not even 1% of how much you're paying court fees. Never mind lawyers, just court fees. Filing for cases is expensive. You need to pay the court. And then you need to pay your lawyers per hour, billable hours. And so to get all of this, like just get the evidence, screen cap, track the person who's behind the account, this is expensive. So a lot of people can understand really why she's doing this when she's actually not getting a lot of money. I don't think money is her motivation for doing this. She has something under her belt, that she has a bigger plan for this one. So number one, I think she wants to set a precedent. So by suing even small commenters, she sends a signal that I will fight defamation no matter how small. So like remember, we were just talking about Jimin in the first part of this live stream, and how powerful small accounts are, because every comment actually counts. It adds into the algorithm. It feeds into the trend. And so what she's trying to do is to make everybody realize that I don't care if you have one followers or a million followers. If you say something about me, I'm gonna come after you. Okay. And this legal precedent can actually strengthen her hand in future cases, because this is still a decision. Even if the penalty is so small, it is still a court decision. This is a legal document. Okay. So Carla Girl said, you're funny. Carla Girl said that if you show that photo of MHJ, you will need emotional support picture. Okay, so this is a legal precedent. It's still on paper, and it's still recorded that she won. In other words, even if it is just $200, $215, at the end of the day, the court still said that she was defamed, and she needs that on her record. Okay, so it's not necessarily the money. Okay, second reason, it's a deterrence. As I've said, she wants to scare off people commenting against her. She doesn't want to be defamed. And so she wants to make sure that everyone realizes that you are you are in my eyesight no matter how small of a creator you are. So she's discouraging, if more people are scared that they're going to get sued even if the fine is small, then they won't comment against her anymore, and that's going to lower the noise against her, right? So if she's able to lower the noise against her, she can up the noise for her. So now she can play the public opinion game. Okay, next. So even if someone thinks, oh, the payout is tiny, they'll still see, but I might get dragged to court, pay legal costs, and be harassed for months, which they don't want, because in Korea, it's very, very stressful to actually get sued. And of course, the financial burden is will be on the person who lost. Now, because this person that was asked to pay a fine is, he's not rich, or she is not rich. She was not asked to pay the lawyer's fee, the legal fees of Min Hee-jin. So, but still, you're still getting dragged to court. So the worry, the stress that you have to go through, that's her trying to deter people from saying something against her. Next is that by winning even a token sum, she can actually point to a legal recognition that people defamed her. Again, precedent. That's what she wants. She just wants to be able, down the road, when she's fighting the bigger fight, she wants to be able to present a document and say, I was defamed. Okay. So, and she can say that the court confirmed it, that I was defamed. Okay, we don't know where she's going to use that for now, but she is going to use that. Next is that repeated wins, even with small payouts, can build momentum for a larger lawsuit later. So she is going to be facing more lawsuits in the future, and of course she is facing lawsuits right now. All the small victories will add up to court. Okay. And then personal psychology is just, you know her, or at least part of her we know. She likes nitpicking things, and she's very particular about details, and she does not want a sliver of negative PR against her. She's fighting tooth and nail to get that that stunning PR reputation, which she has lost because of all the things that have come out, because of all the text messages that have come out. So she's trying to get it back. And this is one step. If she can get the court to say you're getting defamed, she's one step closer to actually recovering it. Will she ever recover? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, so another case is that Daniel, a member of NewJeans, as you know, the judge told them in the decision for the injunction, the decision on the injunction that Adore filed against them, asking the court to tell NewJeans that they can't work unless it is with Adore. In that decision, they said that any kind of work that is not through Hyde, they will have to pay Hyde a total of $750,000. Okay, now she attended a marathon, which should be harmless. Okay, should be harmless until she was wearing Nike brand all over. They had a partnership with Nike. Okay, but still, she shouldn't be doing anything without the approval or instruction of Adore. In that marathon, she was with Junetian. If you, I don't know if you remember that rap duo. They're under YG. So one of the members is an avid runner, and she joined his group. So she was wearing Nike all over, and there is an official photographer. There's an official photographer. So this photographer took a lot of pictures of her in that event and tagged Nike. Okay. So that can be misconstrued as work because you're connecting her directly to Nike when everything should be through Adore. So a lot of people are waiting. Is Adore going to do anything about this? Now, the photographer already untagged Nike and all the other brands connected to Nike. And people are saying that she should be safe because it wasn't her. Okay. In principle, it should be okay. But the truth is that she knew she was getting photographed and she knew that the photographer was the official photographer. So she should have made it clear that her photos cannot be posted with the brand. You need to blur it. Okay. So but so far Adore has not done anything. But a lot of people are saying, you can be fined for this because you're essentially connecting directly with Nike and you shouldn't. Now, I personally think that Adore is not going to do anything as of the moment. They are trying to get into a negotiation with NewJeans. If you would remember, the first round is done, and they are going to come back for another round in September. We don't know what's happening with that mediation, but I don't think Hyde is going to do anything until that mediation is over. So why take the risk with that kind of penalty in play? Have you ever done anything in your life that is dangerous, but you're not fully aware of the danger and you're only fully aware of it after? Have you ever done anything like that? For example, for me, I did I did skydiving in San Diego. Okay. And when I was doing it, it was just like exciting. I like excitement, so I did skydiving. I posted pictures, sent it to my family back in the Philippines. And my father and some of my cousins were like, "Are you freaking crazy? Don't ever do it again." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Why? What's wrong with it?" And so they were explaining to me what could have happened, what if it failed or whatever. And then that's only when it dawned on me how dangerous it was to actually jump off a plane strapped to somebody. What if that failed or something, right? That's what she's into. She's doing something dangerous, but her brain does not register how dangerous that is. So she wants, I think what she's trying to do is just push the envelope and see when is the breaking point, when is a door going to break. She's trying to like piss off a door and see how far she can take it. So that's why she's risking it. That's why, despite the 750,000 possible fine, she's doing it. It's because she's not fully aware of just how dangerous that thing is. It's the same thing with this unilateral, this the agreement, them discontinuing the agreement. It's the same thing. They weren't fully aware how dangerous it is until they were actually there, until now. What in the heat of it, they were their judgment, their brains were clouded. All they knew was that no, we need to follow Heejin. And now that the fine is there, now that the court is telling them you can't do this, you can't work, and now that they've been out of work for 2 years almost, they're finally realizing just how the pickle that they have gotten themselves into. Okay. Can the can the judge fine her even if Adore doesn't complain? No, the court is does not execute. So the court can't. The court cannot execute a judgment. So what what Hyde, what Adore needs to do is to ask for example, demand for payment. If if Adore actually wants to do this, they can demand her to pay. And then if they don't pay, then they can go to court and say, okay, she's not paying. So you need to garnish her money in the bank. So then the court will say, oh, okay, all right. So I'm going to write up a decision. So the judge is going to write up a decision, and then you bring it to the bank so that the bank will be the ones that will transfer the money from her bank to yours. But the court itself, they can't execute the judgment. That's up to the law enforcement, the police. Okay. Um, so she gets into trouble if she doesn't. Good for Nike. Yeah, well, I don't think, as I've said, I think Adore is gonna wait until this is done, the mediation is done. I think they are still trying their very best to make it work, or at the very least show the court to make it work. They don't have a choice. They have to show the court that they are willing and able and trying their very best to make it work, so that, as I've said, when judgment comes, the court can say, okay, dude, the other party did their best and you keep on pushing back, right? So cover their asses, basically. I disagree with those women think bunny uncles will come through for them. Okay, next. So this is a precedent, and this is a case that just happened in South Korea. So there was a group, they remain unnamed, but there is a K-pop group, and they had a Japanese member, or they had Japanese members. All right. Now what the management did was add a new member in the group. Okay, so they have already debuted. They've already debuted, and they added a new member in the group. So they terminated the contract, and they said we don't want. Well, first they told the company, well, we don't want a new member. We don't want her in here. And the company said, well, it's not your decision. I'm sorry, but you have a new member. And so they stopped coming to work, and they sent a letter to the agency saying, we are terminating our contract with you. Okay. So the management company sued them. All right. So the same thing, almost the same thing that's happening to Adore. And the court told the management company told the court, it is nowhere in our contract that states they have a say on who the members are. So this is not grounds for termination. And so the Japanese idol or idol said that, well, it's causing us stress. This is not the agency. This is not the same group that we signed up for. This is not part of the agreement. We already debuted. This is not healthy for the company. We don't trust them anymore. This is breach of trust. Okay. And the court said, no, there is nowhere in the contract that states you have any say in who the members are going to be. The contract states their obligation, the company's obligation, that they will pay you for whatever it is that you're going to be doing, any kind of work that you're going to be doing, to secure bookings for you, to secure work, brand deals, songs, concerts. But it does not state that you get a say in who the members are. Okay, so the Japanese idols lost the case. So the court is telling them, you have to go back. All right. So they're filing an appeal. And a lot of people think that it's going to go the same way TVXQ actually had it in the past, where the court actually just sort of, I guess, found ways on how to eventually have SM strike a deal with a settlement with them where they get paid. So they got a portion of the income of the three members until the penalty was paid. So okay, so that is the case. Now a lot of people are saying, so this is the article. So remember, this is a Japanese idol. She's from Japan, but the group is in Seoul. Okay. So the singers claim that the agency breached its contract. Persons A's side claimed that the agency had breached their contract multiple times, breaking trust. Person A's issue were primarily fourfold. So here are the issues. Okay. First, the agency broke its promise. Let's go back here. They broke their promise not to recruit new members without the consent of existing members and unilaterally brought in a new member. Second, he claimed that the agency staff made threatening and abusive remarks, such as get out of the dorm and should I hit you. And third, it was pointed out that the agency favored only the member who caused problems in social media. And lastly, they claimed that the company had failed to provide any settlement information even once after the contract was signed, thereby failing to fulfill its obligation to share profits. Okay. This ABC is awfully specific. Couldn't be too hard to figure out who it is. I don't know. Or maybe I do know. I can't say because I don't want to get sued. The problem is that I'm visible, so I can't just say things. I'm gonna get sued. So I feel individually one or two of the girls got swept along and regret they have no options. They are distressed. For are we talking about NewJeans? I do think there's a weak link in the group, meaning there is somebody in the group that is not fully into the lawsuit and actually wanted to get out of it. Just because statistically there's always that one, right? It's very rare when everyone is solid into doing just one thing alone, especially if it's a rebellion of sorts. So I do think you're right that there's a weak link in there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next hints. It's not a young group. I guess the first thing that you can do is search for groups with Japanese members. There's not a lot. There's not a lot. They're definitely not part of the big four. There you go. Not even if you include like Starship and stuff like that, they're not included. And it's a boy group. There. It's and I said that boy group because it said in the article. So you can just search. It's very easy. Okay. Robin Carr, for which group the five moods or the Japanese group? If five okay. ABA Norieri. Maybe, maybe one of the two. Could be the youngest. Some people were saying Bang Chiuk is jealous of Min Hee-jin, acting as if a door belonged to her. In reality, Bang Chiuk was the one who gave her. You know, I think a lot of people are missing the point. New jeans were selling well. They were really doing very well in the beginning. I think a lot of people are missing that. They were they were on track to destroy the records of Blackpink. They were on track to do that. They're doing really well. And you can say whatever it is that you want to say about the music. Personally, I liked their first several releases and then I felt like it stagnated. But regardless of that, they were still doing well. You can't argue with success. I mean, to this day they still are getting some good streams. And so if you are an entrepreneur like Bang Shiuk and you're seeking number one to repeat the kind of success that you had with BTS or at least come close to it and you have a group here, why not take the chance? Right? Why not take the chance? I can't blame him for taking the chance. And number two, it's not as if they weren't the ones who found the five girls. It was them who found who found the five girls. Remember, they came from Source Music. They were going to debut in Source Music. So you have a chance. That's all he had. He just really wanted to do well for the company, and that would have been great for Hyde. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't want to say they did well," but they did well. NewJeans did very, very well, and I think personally, in my opinion, I think that was the primary motivation for Bang Shiuk why he decided to give in to many of his demands, many of her demands, because NewJeans was performing well. So